Hello everybody, I'm the Trebox Gamer, and we're playing Minecraft for... I might go for a bit, not too sure how far I'll take it, but... we'll have a few videos up. Let's see, we're in the top left corner. Typically when I start a new world, I like to go around the border of the map. Usually I settle to be in a village, but if we can't find any, I guess I'll just set up wherever. I'm not that picky, like... not too sure, and I'm also not sure why I can't hear any of the ambience. Did I set it too low? Huh. I mean, I could hear sound. Maybe it'll pick up later. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I just know it kind of has this kind of creepy feeling, to be honest. Like, it's just a little weird. Oh well. It's not that big of an issue. We'll ignore it eventually. If not, I'll probably add something in the background just to make it a little more soothing. Yeah, this is a nice spot, but I'll have to remember this for later. It's kind of lagging, too. Oh well, beggars can't be choosers. What the heck's wrong with that? Okay. Not the weirdest thing I found in this game, but... Huh. Oh, now I can hear the music. I guess it needed some time to pick up. Let's see, we could go to the right, or we could go to the left. That would take us off the map, so I'll just keep going straight for now. I might make myself a boat. If I have to go through, like, more water. Like, this is doable. If I have to go through more water, I think I'll just make myself a boat. I think now you need, like, a shovel to make it. I don't really... I mean, yeah, I do use... I think the one tool I don't use would probably be the hoe. I don't really care for the hoe. I don't farm. And even when I do, it's a very lackluster... Hey, there's lava over there. I'll put that a note. Lava at this location. And then I'm gonna forget the note and I'm gonna lose it, and then when I need lava, I'm not gonna know where to find it. I mean, if you dig down long enough, you'll find lava eventually. Do I go this way or should... I'll just go this way. I mean... Let me see... I don't think I need a torch, really. Then again, when I was playing this area, my screen is a lot darker than this screen, so... To me, it would have looked darker. So if I ever put a torch and it doesn't seem that dark... Just know that it did at one point look a lot darker. Alright, give me a sec. I'm gonna go a little higher. I like to be able to tell my surroundings, and down here, it's not cutting it. Alright, let's see. I'll just go around you. Want to keep above. Don't want to go too high, but at the same time, I don't want to keep going low. And we're getting into some woods over here. I am not a big fan of going into woods in video games. I mean, it just always feels like something's stalking you. I mean, granted, every time I feel like that in this game, it's always something harmless, like a pig, a cow, or a sheep. So it's like nothing to worry about. But I still hate the feeling, like it's creepy. So, speak of the devil, there's a cow right there. Also, it's kind of... weird thing, I mean, I guess it's not that weird. I was about to say, it's kind of weird seeing a bunch of birch trees around, but then again, we are in the woods. You typically are going to see a bunch of trees, and... Ow. It's just, like, I guess I'm used to seeing more than one type. But then again, I played Minecraft for a long time. I mean, not as long as like the first like launcher, but pretty decent era long, if you get what I mean. So a lot of things are a little weird for me. Alright, let's see. We're very close to the edge here. We'll be turning right in a few. Hey, a mushroom. I guess I'll just use this to barrel my way through. I don't know. It's like, I know there's nothing to be worried about. Sorry, the side of the cave kind of threw me off. I wasn't expecting to see something like that. And now these woods are making me feel a little claustrophobic. I can't wait to... I'm just going to say we could turn right about here. Forget it. Again, like I'm saying, it's just like every time I'm in a woods in a video game, it just feels like I'm being stalked. And this game is no exception. I mean, granted, I guess in the PlayStation 3 version of Minecraft and Xbox 360 version, when I play those games, I always felt like something was kind of watching me. And I'm kind of glad the feeling doesn't pop up now, but back then it was like, why do I feel like there's always something like just trailing behind me? It's like weird. And again, like I said, it's usually a cow, a sheep, or a pig. Something completely harmless. So it's, again, kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to jump off of that. I'm going to jump in the water. I'm smart. Sort of. What the heck is that? Yeah, okay, I'm not used to the new structures that pop up, so if I'm confused on something, just, you know, it'd probably be nice if people tell me what the heck it is. Then I'd say we're making good progress. We're, like, I'd say, well, we're over 25%, I would say that. What the heck is this? Cursed abomination of this. I'm out. Forget it. Oh, I'm definitely out. See, the thing is... Oh, hey, there's a dog. Wolf, whatever you want to call it. And I have no bones. How sad. The thing is, I mentioned that I put something in the background when I'm playing games. I just happened to choose to play some Minecraft creepypasta in the background, so seeing this weirdness, or at least what I would describe as weirdness, it just feels a little too fitting for me. Then again, it is my fault. Like, I did actively choose to listen to creepypasta. I could have listened to anything else, but no. I went with the scary stories. So, I mean, I guess it's setting the mood. And I don't know if it's skipping because either A, the recording skipped, or B, there's some lag. I'm not entirely sure. It could be either or, really. And I might be making that boat real soon because we do have some water here, but it's close to land. What the heck was that? What the heck is going on? What the heck is that? Whoa, hey! I'm just gonna assume it's lag, but at the same time, I want to make a beeline out of here. Again, my choice of a video to watch while playing this was not the best choice when this starts happening. So, just gonna go away and let my paranoia die down a bit. If it starts following me, I'm gonna be a little worried, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing. Hey, I want to go up there. It's gotta be lag. It's gotta be lag. I know this game gets a little laggy for some reason. This is, I think it's called Bedrock Edition. I don't think it's that bad, but I've noticed some different changes. I mean, a lot of performance issues with this version, but at the same time, I mean, I'm still having fun. I mean, if I do go for this version, it's mainly because I want to see the new stuff. Like, I don't think I don't think the other version has the new stuff. Then again, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think the only thing is that I have another world that I kind of did my 100%, well, maybe not 100% completion is because, you know, it's an open world game, it's a sandbox game. Are you ever really completed it with 100%? But, you know, trophy-wise, advancement-wise, I done all I could. I probably should have went for that goal. Whatever. We'll find some later. So, like I was saying, the other map was basically my completionist map. Like, I've done all that I could. I had a lot of projects that I love to do. And then the new update came, I was like, okay, I would check it out. But on the bright side, you can move your map from that old version to the new version, so I was happy about that. It's just, I noticed that there's a little performance issue, and it's like, not too happy about that, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. And there's nothing really up here except for trees. Just make my way out of here, don't mind me. Well, okay, it's weird to look at, but I would say floating rocks aren't abnormal in this game. I mean, if you haven't seen one, are you really playing Minecraft? I see we have some ice up ahead. We have a little snow biome coming up. Nice. Maybe we could find one of those, what do you call it? The name's, like, right there. Igloo. Maybe we can find an igloo. And I noticed the ice all weirded out. I'm just gonna ignore it. Let's say, like, right about... maybe right here. I would say... no, keep going a little further. Just a little further. Alright, I would say, like, getting at this part, we have two sides of the outer completed. So that's, like, 50% of the outer ring. Not 50% of the map, but, you know, border-wise, we're, like, halfway done. And I'm sorry, it's probably a lot more difficult to look at this way. I kind of like it like this, and... okay, what's with the weird ice? And there's that weird glitch with the seaweed, seagrass. Again, I'm not putting a zoom on that one. I don't know. Personally, I like looking down, but I do like how it's on the left. Granted, I can't really see it that well, but I could go, like, I could see where I'm going. I think that's a plus with it. I feel like maybe I should have went for the boat earlier. Whatever. I can't... with the boat, I could barely control it with the ice, so it's like, forget about it. I'd rather just walk. Or jump, sprint, whatever. I also like that we're in a more open area. I mean, granted, we're going to be passing through some ice. It might get a little claustrophobic, but it's not as claustrophobic as the wood, so I kind of like the openness with this area. And obviously, we're starting this game on peaceful. I typically like a peaceful run, at least until I need, you know, materials like, you know, ender eyes, blaze rods. Like, until I need those, then I like to keep it as a normal, carefree pace. Kind of weird we haven't found any villages just yet. And I did notice that audio glitch. Is that... I can't tell if it's a video or if it's my computer. Or it could be my, you know, headphones. That has happened before. Like, the headphones, the wires are old. It's an old pair of headphones. but when plugged in, it just keeps making this distorted noise, so it's like, it sounds like the video is making the noise, but really it's just the headphones, and I'm gonna need that boat. The other places I gave a pass because there's land relatively close, but looking out here, not seeing much land. Not much land at all. So let's see, I'll make you, and then we got the boat. You're coming with me. Just because I place you down here doesn't mean this is home just yet. I'll decide where I put down my home. Man, I remember when boats were first, like, popped into the game. If you so much as touch a lily pad, broke. I wish I were kidding. And I'd say this is the end of the map, so we'll turn right here. Oh. That was a dolphin. I forgot they added... Well, actually, I think dolphins were in for a pretty long time, but I like how playful they are. However, at this time, dolphin, I can't stand around and play. I gotta keep going. Man, there's a lot of water. Alright. Oh, there you are. Again, sorry, I can't stand around and play. I gotta keep going. But, man, there's a lot of water. I'm also not a big fan of exploring water. Mainly because, well, there's no land. I mean, no duh. And also, I'm not a big fan of the possibilities of drowning. Or anything that pops up from the deep. Would that be called hydrophobia? I mean, I'm not afraid of water and like that much, but no, it shouldn't be called hydrophobia. Hydrophobia would be like the fear of the water in general. What would be the fear of... You know, one of my friends, he painted a good picture of this fear. And I'll just explain to you what he told me. He said, Anthony, imagine you're on a boat. And I'm like, okay, easy enough. Now, imagine that you look over the edge, and what you see below you is a big black silhouette. And then all of a sudden, a giant eye just opens up. And I'm like, that's horrifying. And he said, and now you know why I'm never going sailing. Fair point. Fair point. You have a good argument with that. Doesn't help with the... You know, just seeing that cut down tree. It reminded me the first time I ran into a cut down tree. And I'm telling you, I freaked out. Like, I panicked. I'm like, wait a minute. That's not natural. Who cut down this? Wait, a tree was affected by gravity. And I see a village over there. To our right. So I think I found my home, but yeah, the first time I ran into a fallen tree, I almost jumped off like an idiot and I would have died. I could guarantee you that the first way I'm gonna die is probably me falling to my death. I could see it happening. I could definitely see that being the possibility. But like I was saying, the first time I encountered a fallen tree, I absolutely freaked out, went into full paranoid mode, and I was like, the heck is this? Why is this here? Like, one, okay, gravity only affects a few certain blocks. These aren't the... Oh, hey, iron. These aren't the blocks that are affected by gravity, so that's weird. Number two, who cuts down trees? Mob-wise, who cuts down trees? The only person I could think of that cuts down trees would be me. But, I don't leave them like that. They would go into my inventory. It's just a little off-putting, you know? Like, somebody cut down a tree, the tree acted like a real-life tree and fell. So, it's a little off-putting with that. And then I remembered, wait a minute, no. Endermen like to move things, so possibly it could have been an Enderman. Just putting them randomly. I mean, yeah, I guess you could consider it randomly. I mean, it's specifically random, I guess, but yeah, that's my first encounter with a tree, a fallen tree. And I told another friend about this, and he started busting up laughing. He was like, "You're such a fraidy cat," and I'm like, "You cannot tell me that I had, like, you can't tell me I wasn't worrying over nothing, because that was weird. You have to admit." And it's like, "Anthony, that was in an update long ago." And then I said, "Dude, I just got the update for the PlayStation. Leave me alone." Then that just prompted him to laugh harder. I just say it's again, okay. I was also listening to creepypasta again, so no, my track rec. Oh, hey, I'll just take this from you and I'll give it back later. I promise. I'll just take everything from you and I promise I'll give it back in one way or another. Don't you worry. I was talking about something before I got into that story. What was it? Oh, right. I was trying to figure out what that fear would be. You know what? I'm just gonna quickly look it up. Hold on. Wow, that's a big word. Okay, it's called megalohydrothalassophobia. It's this word. How is that how you pronounce it? I feel like I'm trying to get a prescription drug from a pharmacy. Like, speaking of which, I never pronounce those right either. I just say it as close as I can before I give. I felt like I just kind of gave up on that one. I mean, you've seen how long that word. Like, who the heck? Actually, there's a funny story with that. See, there's a fear for long words. You want to know why that's funny? Because this is what they decided to call it. I'm not pronouncing this. I looked at it, and I said, you know what? I'm giving up. I don't even want to try. Hey, obsidian. I know, I'm easily distracted. I'm sorry. But no, seriously, you have a fear of long words, and the doctor, imagine going to the doctor saying that's your fear. And then out of nowhere, he just, like, bashes that over your head, like, "Doc, why? You know I was afraid of long words. You gave me a long word." I want to know who made the name. Like, whose bright idea was it to name the name? That's kind of mean. You're mean. Granted, that would be something I would do, so I'm not gonna play all innocent. Yes, I would absolutely, if I had to name a fear, I would probably go with an ironic name for said fear. Actually, hold on. I want to look up a different fear, because I'm not sure. Hey, he lost his leads. Mine now. I don't even have to kill his llamas for him. Nice. That, out of context, that might sound a little messed up. Nah, but getting back to the point before I got distracted, which, mind you, I think it's obvious by now, but I do get easily distracted. I was going to look up some weird fears, but if anybody wants to know a weird fear to look up, just, leave a comment. I'll see if it's a thing. But I want to look up the first weird fear. What would be a fear of cows? Let's go with fear of cows. It's got to be something. Fear of cows. Bovinophobia. I think that's how you pronounce it. They'll put it up. I think that's how you pronounce it. Bovinophobia. I mean, I'm looking up the word. I'm not looking up how to pronounce it. So I'm either A, accurate, or B, I'm butchering it. And yeah, just looking at that, I do want to say that fear is somewhat warranted, because statistically, cows have killed more than sharks. You wouldn't think it, but yeah, statistically, cows have killed more than sharks. It's just like, they look so friendly. I mean, I guess farm accidents can happen. There's wild I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a cow out in the wild. They're always, like, tamed. But at the same time, it's always behind a fence. I don't go, as they say, you don't mess with a bull. You're not going to get the... Well, I guess that's not the saying. The saying is, mess with a bull, you get the horn. And I don't mess with a bull, so I don't get the horn. But there's a saying there for the reason, for a reason. I hear a kitty. I don't have any fish. I want to tame the cats. Oh, hi. I wasn't going to go in your house and rob you. Don't mind me. And, you know, before anyone, like, I'm not making fun of these phobias. I'm just sharing them. And if I could share some of my phobias, I'll gladly share a phobia I have. Like, I'm afraid of mannequins. So if you want to make fun of me for that, go for it. I know, it sounds ridiculous. What's going on over there? What are you doing? Why are you on fire? Get in the water, you idiot! Where'd you... Oh. I'm taking this. I'm taking this. Hold on. This is mine now. If you can't handle the fire properly, it's now mine. Hold on. I want to see if that guy was wearing green because you see there's a fire there. You don't just walk into fire. I don't know where he went, but I guess it don't really matter much. Hello. I don't think you're the guy. Were you the guy? No. Also, mine. Granted, I don't think I need any of this, but don't worry, I'll give it back. I promise you, it'll be returned to you eventually. One day. Someday. Not today, though. But, yes, like I was saying before I got distracted by the village idiot getting hit by fire, one of my fears, one of my phobias, is a fear of mannequins, which I decided to look up as well. I thought it was going to be called something completely different. This is what it's called. Automatophobia, which honestly I would assume would be like a phobia of animatronics. Not mannequins, but sue me, I guess. Where did I get this fear? Well, when I was I'd say a toddler, as a kid, you wander off from your parents in the store. Well, I bumped into a mannequin, and it almost fell on me, and that scared me. It scared the wits out of me, so that's where I say it would develop. And then there were, like, games like Silent Hill that introduced, like, mannequin enemies that, when I played it years later, reinstated that fear. And then there's other games that also use mannequins as their enemies that kind of also made me fear a little more. Granted, I think it's just, like, I would assume that the fear came from the Uncanny Valley, where it looks human, but it's not human. I thought that's where it came from, but I guess that's possibly what happened. I'm not entirely sure myself, but that's my theory. A couple of weeks ago, I was with some friends, and we were at the mall, and there was these mannequins there. And I'm not, like, with me, I'm not bad at, dealing with the fear. I'm not saying that I was PG about being near them, but I wasn't, like, causing a scene. I managed myself pretty well. I mean, I'm with my friends. I don't want to ruin our hangout just because I got freaked out by a bunch of mannequins, but we looked at them. I point to one of my friends and I say, you see those hands? You see those hands? You know what they're good for? Strangling you. Like, they're good for strangling you when you turn your back on them. And this is a friend that knows that I'm afraid of mannequins, so he likes to joke about it too. It's like, yeah, Anthony, they're onto you. They know what you're planning. They know that you know that they're sentient. They're just waiting for you to turn your back on them so they could strangle you. And I'm like, I knew it. I knew it from the start. And then we laugh, and then we keep going on our ways, because, we're at the mall. We're not going to stay and watch the mannequins all day. Let's see other fears that I have. I mean, fears, phobias, there's a difference. Like, fears that you're actively afraid of. I think, what is the difference between a fear and a phobia? Hold on. Let's check this out. Because for a while, I was kind of sketchy with my own reflection. I know that sounds weird. Trust me, everyone else pointed it out. But at the time, I was kind of... Oh, okay, here it is. The American Psychology Association defines fear as a rational reaction to a potentially dangerous event or object. Fear, for example, may prompt you to take cover during a severe storm or flee from a dangerous animal. Phobias, however, are irrational fears triggered by either specific or general events or items. Okay. that answered my question. What's the difference between a fear and a phobia? I would say that this, at a point, was classified as a phobia. I would also think that during this part of my life, I was into horror. So, horror movies, games, I think this was something that just kind of messed with me a little. And one of them was the whole, like, being afraid of your own reflection, which is called spectrophobia, interesting enough. And when people ask me why I was so nervous around it, I remember my response is, okay, so you're just going to trust something that looks and acts exactly like you. To which they reply by saying, Anthony, it's your reflection. Yeah, it's my reflection now, but what if I turn my back and it attacks me? What then? To be fair, yeah, that might be a little silly, but a friend of the family did share with me a story that my fear did kind of come to life through, like, they experienced my fear. And granted, I mean, when they told the story, it's not like, oh, I knew it. No, I was trying to think logically on what happened, because even though there's a nice amount of trees there, I kind of feel horrible for cutting them down. And before I forget, I typically say I'm going to plant the trees as soon as I break them down, but I forget. So they might not be planted now, but don't worry. Eventually, I will come around to planting these trees later on. Like I say, I am very easily distractible. But no, the friend of the family, they told me that when they were, one day they were looking at their own reflection, and it kind of smirked evilly at them. And granted, I was thinking, logically, what would be the reason behind this? Because when it's other people, I try to think logically. When it's me, well, back then I didn't care. Now I do. I try to go for the the more logical answer when it comes to paranormal stuff like this. So, my only logical conclusion to that event would be that you're tired. You see, when you're sleep deprived, your brain basically plays tricks on you. And I know I'm jumping from that person's story back to another personal story, but when I was kind of sleep deprived, I would see a shadow open my door and look like it peer in, and when I would look up, it just disappears. And I know it's because I was sleep deprived, because why are you here? That's right, you walk away, go somewhere else. You're useless to me. Alright, so I know I was sleep deprived because, one, I knew my sleeping schedule was, like, awful, like, just plain awful. And, well, this was during my high school year. I believe it was my senior year. One day I was late to school. I was, like, taken, like, a block away, and when I crossed the crosswalk, well, I got hit by a car. And before you ask, no, it wasn't that bad where I was, like, a little pancake on the ground. No, it literally just, like, knocked me over the hood. I was disoriented for, like, a few minutes, and then I got up and cursed out the driver. I'm not going to repeat what I said, because I've decided to make this video, you know, kid-friendly. They're as kid-friendly as I can make it. But, I got knocked over. I cursed out the driver. I then apologized to the driver because, well, you see, the driver was an old lady. And even though I just got hit by the driver, I didn't feel right cursing out an old lady. And everybody that I've told this to, they said the same thing to me. Anthony, are you crazy? And I said, maybe. Why am I crazy? And they're like, you got hit by a car, and you apologize for cursing. And I'm like, yeah, I apologize for cursing because I cursed out an old lady. I didn't feel right for... Look, if it was someone around my age or slightly older, I wouldn't have felt bad. But I cursed out an elderly woman. I was raised better than that, okay? And they're like, but you got hit by a car. Yes, I got hit by a car, but I still have a moral compass. Your moral compass doesn't mean anything when you're the victim. And I'm like, good point. But I'm not going to listen to it because my moral compass ticks weirdly. It really does. And I hate it. I really do hate it. However, all that sympathy that I had for the lady kind of went away a little later because I didn't go the suing route. I'm not that kind of person. I was like, just throw me your insurance name and we'll just have them deal with it. Well, on the phone with the insurance people, the person I was talking to, they said that the other person believed that I was responsible for getting hit. And I'm like, no, I am not responsible for this. Granted, I wasn't throwing the blame at the person. I was just saying, hey, it happens. It was an accident. I don't think anybody really was at fault, which, again, maybe was a little too nice of me. Because legally, the pedestrian has a right of way, and when you hit the pedestrian with your car in the middle of the crosswalk, I would say that's the driver's fault. But I was being nice. So hearing that they put the blame on me for being hit, yeah, me being nice ended rather quickly. I mean, again, I still didn't throw the blame at them. I just said, I don't think that's fair. I would like to put it as it was just an accident and, call it a day. And everything went well. I want to say there was no bad blood. Because you want to know something funny? The lady that hit me, her daughter worked with my mom. And when my mom went to work the next day, her daughter, the lady that hit me, her daughter, she came up to my mom and was like, how's your son? All moody about it. And I was like, I'm sorry, lady. Did somebody step in your cereal? Because with that attitude, you're acting like I'm suing you. I'm not suing you. I'd say I've been pretty nice and pretty fair with your family. I could have went the other route, so I don't need this attitude. You could have said, hey, how's your son? Is he okay? I'm so sorry. But no. You just went with, how's your son? And boy, was my mom... Oh, she was angry. Granted, that didn't change anything that happened with the whole thing. I still went with, just have the insurance deal with it. Not going to change my, decision just based on one bad encounter. So, yeah, after that, everything went to normal. And you're probably wondering, well, what does this have anything to do with the whole, sleep-deprived thing? Well, after I went to the hospital, granted, I do like this part where I go to the hospital because I'm being set up in the ambulance, and while people are passing me, I'm bleeding from my head. I'm making jokes. I'm cracking jokes. They're not good jokes. Granted, none of my jokes are good jokes, but I'm just laughing about it, just making jokes, trying to get everyone in a good mood. Because I figured, hey, if I'm busy laughing... I heard a kitty again. Oh my gosh. There's the kitty. But, there's the kitten. I don't have no fish. I don't have no fishing pole. No. Okay, again, easily distracted, but continuing on. So, I get hauled off into the ambulance. I go to the hospital. They make me wait in the waiting room. Because it's not that bad, so I'm just sitting there making even more dumb jokes. Eventually, it's my turn. First thing they had me do was they take some X-rays of me to make sure I didn't break anything, and no, nothing got broke. Not even bruised, really. I was very lucky that nothing bad happened. But the thing is, during this X-ray, you had to take off your pants and be in your boxers. So I'm lying there awkwardly. Not liking the situation. Hating the situation. Granted, it could be worse. I could, they could have said, hey, you have to remove the boxers. And that would have made me very uncomfortable. But as I was thinking, making jokes this entire time has made me feel better. What can I joke about here? And then I got an idea. I wanted to look at the doctor, and I wanted to say, "Hey, doc, paint me like your French girls." But then I was like, no, that's too far. I'm not gonna bother the doctor. They're just gonna scam me. Let's just get this over with. I'll share this joke with everybody else, but I'm not gonna bother the doctor with it. So the x-rays came out, and like I said, nothing hurt, nothing broke, like, kind of amazing too, but then again, like I mentioned earlier, it wasn't like I got, like, splattered by the car, I just got, like, rolled off of it. So we go into, like, I wouldn't say this be, like, it's kind of reminded me of, like, a doctor's office, like, a back room, not really a full room. You get what I'm like, it's a small room where you just sit in. The doctor came in, and he was like, "Okay, well, you look fine, nothing's wrong with you, we just gotta patch you up, and then you're free to go." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, that's nice." And then he pulls out this big needle, and clearly, he saw the fear on my face. And he's like, "What, are you afraid of needles?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not afraid of needles, but I'm afraid of that one, because this needle, it was gigantic." And I'm like, "You're gonna stab me in the side of the head with that thing?" It was, like, it looked like it could penetrate my skull. And I was like, "Okay, yeah, it does look kind of scary, so I'll compromise with you. I'll put a like, makeshift blindfold for you, so you don't have to see it coming." And I'm like, "Thank you, doc. Like, I appreciate that." So he puts it on me. It's really just like a bunch of napkins, but unfortunately for me, unfortunately, there was, like, this one small opening, and I just so happened to look out the opening as he was about to pierce the side of my head with the needle. So, in the end, the blindfold did not do anything. It didn't do anything for me. So after getting stabbed by needles and then patched up like a rag doll, I was free to go. On the ride back home, I was feeling pretty good. I mean, I was tired, I was exhausted, but I was nonetheless feeling pretty good. And then I looked at my mom and I said, "You know, it'd be funny. It would be very funny if you took me back to school." Granted, if this were any other time I went to the hospital, I would not want to go back to school. I would want to go home and rest. But I was like, I got hit by a car, and I came out okay. I want to see the look on everybody's faces, because I could guarantee you everybody heard about it. I have to see their faces. But the thing is, all that adrenaline kind of caught up to me. So instead of saying, "Hey, I want to go to school," according to my mom, she said, it sounded like you said, "Well, really, go do." And I'm like, yeah, I was obviously tired. I'm kind of glad you didn't take my... Yeah, I'm kind of glad you didn't listen to me, but even I kind of do wish I did go, just to see everybody, like, just pop in and see everybody's faces. Just for a second and then go home, but no. I was way too out of it to do any of that, so I went home, and this is going back to the whole sleep-deprived story that I started off with. I believe I rested up for a whole week, and I learned something about myself. Well, actually, two things. Hey, there's that weird glitch again. I don't know what's up with this. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not causing problems, but it's just a little weird, but whatever. I learned two things about myself in that week of resting. Number one, I'm a horrible patient. I didn't want to rest. I wanted to get up and move, which I think kind of caused me some problems down the line. Look, if you're told to rest, just rest, because afterwards, because I didn't rest, I think I messed up my muscles slightly. Not too horribly, but still, just like, some things are a little, I wouldn't say painful, but I've noticed some changes after the accident. So we'll just leave it at that. And another thing that I learned, I guess it's not about me, but just like people in general. So you have a lot of muscles in your face. And I know that because the stitches I was given, I could feel like every little movement from the stitch. And it's like, wow, that's kind of amazing. I mean, I hate it because I could feel the stitch like just messing with it. But that's kind of amazing to learn. But yeah, during that whole week, I did nothing but sleep. And after that, no more dark, inky monsters popping in my doorway. I mean, I'm kind of glad there was an explanation that didn't involve being haunted. But I hate that that the only way that I saw it come to that conclusion was by getting hit by a car. After that, when I got back to school, and I'm just gonna say my dynamic before, like, I'm just gonna say I didn't like school. I was kind of like everyone's, like, I was picked on a lot. And everyone's attitude, it changed like 180. They liked me, like, it's just, I don't think they liked me for me. I felt like they just liked me because they felt bad, is what I'm trying to get at. And I used the wrong act. I'm stupid. To be fair, I didn't see them as friends afterwards. I didn't really. I just thought it was funny, and I just... Well, actually, now that I think about it, now that I remember, see, I did get a big card from everybody. And again, these, I wouldn't say they're my friends. Acquaintances would be the better term. And really, the friends that I did have, they did something instead that separated them from everybody else. See, my best friend that I've known since 4th grade, while everyone was making mushy comments on my card, he was like, Anthony wouldn't like this. I'm going to put down something that he would like. And he made a comment that says, you're not done, get back up. Which, honestly, out of all the other comments, that made me happy the most. Because, you know, coming from him, it just, like, it motivated me to get out of the bed a little too much. Because, like I said, I refused to rest. I really wanted to get moving. And then another group of my friends, they actually came down to visit me. After school was done, they came down to visit me. One of them moved away a long time ago, so I haven't seen him for a while. I haven't even talked to him, but I remember he came down. Two of my other friends, their brother and sister, they came down as well. They wanted to see how I was doing, and while there is something I do want to share about that experience, I know it's not appropriate because I did say something, because they told me everyone in the school is worried about you, and I'm like, I don't even know who the heck you're talking about, because they aren't my friends. I don't know why they're worried, because, like, back then, like I said, like, I was picked on a lot. Like, it's weird to hear that the people that pick on you worry about you. It's, like, just a little weird for me. Like, back then, I guess empathy kind of, like, went over my head a bit. But I told them that when you go back to school tomorrow, can you give them a message for me? And my friend, she's all like, okay, yeah, sure, what's your message? And I told her to tell them that I think they're a bunch of cats. And that's the most appropriate way I could translate to what I said to her. It's just the sudden way I said it, out of nowhere, caused everyone to laugh. And I laugh, and they're like, oh, we're glad to see that you're, you know, back to your old spirit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just very tired. And after that, they left. So a week forward, I go back to school, to the class to where most, I would say, are the people that mess with me are. And one of them, they came to me, and they're like, oh, we're so glad to see you. And I'm like, I'm guessing my friend didn't give you my message, just how cheery you are. It's like, wait, you gave us a message? And I'm like, yeah, a week ago when they visit me, they came by and I asked her to give a message to everybody because I heard everyone was so concerned about me. It's like, oh, sweet, what was the message? And at that point, I had a decision to make. Do I either say, thanks for your concern, I appreciate it, or do I tell them what I said? And I thought about it. I was like, you know, what are they going to do?
Are they really gonna beat, like, are they gonna beat me up? I just got hit by a car. Like, if you're gonna beat me up, I think it's gonna be a lot less than getting hit by a car. And even then, you're in a lose-lose situation. Like, you pick a fight with me. If you win, congratulations. You beat up the person that just got in an accident. Because granted, even though I was up and about, I was still in a lot of pain. Like, I couldn't really move much. I had to build up my muscle again. And if I won, well, dude, you just got beat up by somebody that is not physically at their best. Like, that's kind of sad. But I made my decision. I was like, forget about it. I'm just going to say it. So I looked at him straight in the face and I said, I think you're all a bunch of cats. And everyone laughed. And they're like, Anthony, you're so mean. And I'm like, I'm mean. But before I went on, I decided to say, you know what? I had my moment. If I kept going on, I'm just going to come off as petty. So I just laughed with them and went along my business as usual. Go back to the old routine. And with my friends, I would joke about, like, it's always a joke with us. And one day, I was in one of my class. It was like, what was it? It was like government and economy or something like that. Social and economy, something like that. And one of my group members, they were having difficulties with it. And I made a joke about, hey, if you hit yourself, maybe you'll learn it. Because, you know, the old saying, if you hurt yourself, you learn. And the teacher, he heard this. He's a cool teacher. He's a fun teacher. So he comes up to me and is like, hey, Anthony, I heard what you said, and I thought of a very mean joke. Would it be okay if I tell it to you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, what's the mean joke? And he's like, you know how you said, if you learn by getting hurt? He turned towards me and he's all like, I'm the one that hired the driver that ran you over. I'm like, man, I hope you got a refund because I haven't learned anything from this class yet. And we had a good laugh. Kind of funny because... It's funny because I think during the time we were doing like a government project and my group got the highest grade despite me saying that I haven't learned anything. So, yeah, it was all good fun. I do miss him. Like, he was one of the teachers I actually liked. Some teachers, they were okay, but they, like, were kind of neutral. And then there's those teachers that are just like, I'm kind of glad I don't have to deal with you again. Not saying that I ran into a lot of those teachers, but when you do, it's, like, very difficult to get along with, you know that? It's, like, a little difficult to get... I mean, I know that you have your job, you're not supposed to be my friend, but, like, you don't have to be this difficult to learn from. Would be the nicest way to be putting it. Because there's a couple teachers in my school that were just awful and nobody liked them. I think that's with everybody. Like, you always have that one teacher that nobody likes. For us, it was like this counselor who, honestly, if you went to her for counseling, you know what? You could get better counseling if you looked into your reflection and talked to yourself in the mirror. That's my tip. Like, if you want counseling, just counsel yourself. She was not like, she was insensitive, she was rude. In fact, she was so bad that when she was finally retiring, everybody celebrated. Everybody celebrated because nobody liked her. I think that throughout growing up, I think I only had like a handful of teachers that were, I would call bad teachers. The one that I remember the most was like my 4th grade teacher. She would get these she would give us these multiplication sheets, and she would time us on how fast we could do them. But the thing is, if you were slow, she would berate you and the entire class. Like, whoever didn't do it fast enough would be berated, and I hated that. Because, look, I could do the homework, I could do the problems, but I have to take it slow. One time I did it so fast, but I didn't get a single one right, and it was like, well, I wonder why. I need time to read the dang problem. And you screaming at me like that, that's not helping. I wish I had that kind of thinking back then, because if I did, I think I would have shut her up a bit, or at least, yeah. Actually, I take that back. I wouldn't have changed her mind. If I could make a prediction, she'll probably like send me to the office saying I'm being disrespectful, even though she's screaming at a bunch of kids, and someone else ran into the fire. You know what? Thank you for reminding me about this. I completely forgot about that. Hold on. It's a fire. It's a fire, you idiots. You don't walk into the fire. There. So hard to avoid it? No? See? I put it out. No more fire. But, yeah, going back to it, the teacher basically would scream at us for not going fast enough on the multiplication, like, sheets. And it's like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like, okay, if that happened to me now, I'm not gonna lie, I would say something very rude. I respond being rude. But as a kid, I wasn't as thick-skinned as I am now, and I cried because imagine someone older than you, you're a kid, and they're screaming at your face. Like, it's messed up. It's very messed up. So if you have a teacher like that, I suggest you go say someone at the front desk, or you tell the principal, like, go to someone higher up. Just like, don't take that. They're supposed to be teaching you, not yelling at you. Like I said, I only had like a handful. I can't really think of I could think of another teacher I had an issue with. And getting, like, this was years later. This was like freshman, or maybe it was my sophomore year of high school. But I would have had this one math class. I don't recall what it was, but the teacher there, he did something that kind of irritated me. So I would turn in my homework, and I would get like, oh, a good job written on it, or a thumbs up or something. But then I would get the grade back, and it'd be a 0. And I'm like, what's the point of the good job and great job? And you know the reason why? Because I got to the answer that wasn't shown on the board. And I get, okay, I get that you have to, like, if they tell you to do it one way, you should do it one way. But if that's the case, then why the heck did you put good job and a thumbs up when you should have been saying, hey, do it this way? Instead of giving me, like, false feedback. Because I think, okay, the grade will be posted on, like, his side, not on the paper, which is kind of weird. Like, if you're going to say, hey, I'm not doing a good job, you should put it on the paper, not tell me good job. It's kind of confusing. So I failed that class because of that. And it's like, you had every opportunity to take me aside and say, hey, that's not how I want you to do it. Do it this way. And to be honest, it's kind of sad because really the answers were the same regardless. The way I did it was a lot easier and a lot faster than the 3-4 step way that you were doing it. It helped me a lot better. I could have argued that with you if you came to talk to me, but you never came to talk to me. You just let me fail. And that, like, to be honest, again, I wish I had my mentality that I do now back then, because I would have fought that. I would have fought that. No, I worked hard to get my grade, and for you to simply fail me, not even telling me what I'm doing wrong, it's like, why? Why? Also, I had another issue with this guy, but that's, I'm just gonna set it up. The issue I had was that every girl my age found this teacher attractive, and this is just me being a jealous teenager, but I was like, you really think that guy's handsome? He looked like a rat. He had the scrawny face. He looked like a rat. You're telling me a rat looks handsome? I roast him more, I really would, but I forgot the other features of how he looked. The only thing I remember clearly is that he had a rat-looking face. That's all I remember. Oh, that's the kitten again. I want a fish. I don't have a fishing pole. I can't get the kitten. So, yeah, with him failing me, not telling me what to do, and, you know, maybe some girls I had a crush on fawning over him. Maybe I really just didn't. Oh, there's a kitten again. It breaks my heart. I can't adopt you. So, yeah, that's, like, my main issue with the teacher. I think now I'd be more angry at the whole grade thing, because, you know, that's a good reason to be upset. The other thing was just me being a teenage, you know, a hormonal teenager. I think I remember another teacher in high school. He was my metal shop teacher. We had, like, our bits and pieces with each other, but generally he was, like, I'd say neutral. Like, some days were better, some days were, like, a little worse. And, you know, I won't lie, like, I wasn't as productive those days, too, but I do remember one moment that kind of had me a little upset. And, you know, I'd say a little, but I still complain about it to this day. So, it was like Spirit Week. Or, no, it was before Spirit Week. I got upset during Spirit Week because a week prior, I went up to the teacher and I'm like, hey, can I make a bat? And he's like, no, the machine's broke. And I'm like, that sucks. It sucks worse because the next year I heard they finally got it fixed. I just wanted to make myself a wooden bat. Because, you know, you go into wood shop, you're supposed to make some cool stuff. I made like a couple signs and maybe one chair, but that was all we could do. The other thing that I asked to make, and I specifically asked him if I could make a toy wooden sword, and he's like, no, we can't do that because that's a weapon. I'm like, what if I made it look like an obvious toy? Because I wanted to make something cool. He's like, no, Anthony, again, that's a weapon. I'm like, that sucks. That sucks. Like, that really sucks. Like, what's the point of woodshop if I can't make cool stuff? I mean, yeah, the chair's cool. The signs are okay, but, like, I wanted to make a wooden sword. Like a pirate sword. A toy pirate sword. I would even, like, I was gonna compromise and say I make a sword that looked out of Minecraft. That way it didn't even look like a weapon. And he said no. You're probably wondering why I was upset. That wasn't what upsetted me. So a week later, it's Spirit Week, and one's like Patriot Day, where you dress up as a patriot for your country. That's fine. I have a nice red, white, and blue shirt that I liked. I felt like it was fitting. I was kind of running late. I saw the football team. They were dressed up as soldiers, and they were carrying makeshift rifles made of golf clubs. Alright, I can't make a wooden sword, but these guys could walk around with makeshift looking rifles. Yes, up close, it's not a real gun. Distance wise, it could be mistaken for one. With how they were holding it, how it looked, and it's like, I'm more angry that there's not consistency with the rules, okay? If they were told off, if they said, no, you can't do that, I'd be fine, but no one said a dang thing. Nobody said a thing. And I'm like, how is that fair? I asked for a wooden sword, a toy wooden sword. I would even make it look like a kiddie sword, but I was told no. But the football team, they got to carry rifles. Again, yeah, they were makeshift, obviously not real guns, but it's like, come on. How's that fair? And again, if I had my mentality I have now, I, again, would have fought that, but I didn't. I just said, you know what, forget it, I don't care. I couldn't even make the dang wooden sword anyway, because, you know, the baseball thing's busted. Chances are the thing that I need to use for this wooden sword would probably have been busted too, so forget about it. I don't care. I'm too annoyed. I highly doubt anybody's gonna listen, so never you mind. I also didn't like the football team either. I mean, yeah, the nerd not liking the football team, that's kind of cliched, but you want to know why I didn't like them? It's not because they picked on me. Personally, it's because every time we had a football game coming to our school, they would talk a big game. They would talk a very big game, and like, okay, you guys got confidence, but unfortunately, every time you talk, you kind of prove yourself wrong when you lose horribly. And I'm saying these guys lost a lot, like, it was embarrassing. And, you know, every time I say this, somebody has to say, well, if you think you're going to do so much better, why don't you join? And I'm like, I'm not saying I do better. I'm just saying for some people that talk a lot of, you know, for some people who talk a lot, they don't have a lot to show for it. But I will give them this. They were pretty confident. And I guess sometimes that's all you really need to do. Just have good confidence. I was kind of envious on that, because I kind of wish I had your confidence, but nope. Just didn't care for the games too much. I don't know how many, like, I don't know the win-lose streak, but I could tell you more that it was more the losing side that kind of popped up more, sadly. Then we had this whole, like, trophy thing that was with our rival school, and look, we got our trophy back, but it was underhanded. See, I remember them saying that the trophy was, like, messed up in a way, so the other school was forced to give it to us, and it's like, that doesn't feel like a victory. Man, that doesn't feel like a victory. I mean, it's cool that we got it, but I wish we won it. I wish that we won it, not that we were handed it back out of, like, I would say pity. Like, come on. This entire year, you were motivating us to have some, you know, school spirit. And this is how we got the, you know, our trophy back. I felt like I was slapped in the face. And looking at the I think I'm gonna call this quits for now. Thank you for watching, everybody. I know I saved and quit right now, and I came back. Did that girl just disappear? No, it just fell. Never mind. But thank you for watching, everybody. We'll continue on later. I don't know how many of these I'm gonna be making, and I was gonna say if you want me to make anything, it's gonna be a bit because I need to catch up on all the recordings. So if you want me to make anything, you just ask me, and it might not be in the next video, but I'll let you know when I can make it, and I'll make it for you. I would say maybe, like, I kind of want to take a guess, maybe after, like, the 30th one? Maybe more, I don't know, because there's a lot of recordings to get through, so just, you know, let me know if you want me to make anything, and I'll make it. Of course, it has to be family friendly, so nothing, you know, nothing inappropriate. And with that being said, thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care, and please like and subscribe.